Hello, this is Professor Hampioli, Professor of Mathematics, GIT Belagavi. Here I am there to discuss a topic of fourth semester of GIT students, fourth module, sampling, distribution, and testing of hypothesis. Quite interesting topic. I'll be more concentrating on examples than the theory part. One can understand some definitions are there in the theory part. So quite interesting topic, which is quite useful and applied one. So before we go to the examples, some terminologies we have to understand. The moment I tell that we are going to study sampling, distribution, and testing of hypothesis, the word sample is what it sounds like. We are going to use the sample from a big lot and try to draw the inference for the big lot. That big lot itself will be known as a population in mathematical terminology, and a small part of that big lot what we have taken to infer to have the conclusion about some of our assumptions is known as sample. For example, all the people from Belgaum may be a population. A sample of some 100 people or 1000 people can be one sample. Heights of all the students in a college can be a population. 100 from suppose one from one class of the college we take, that one class, suppose 50 students can be one sample. Whenever I go to some sweet mart, the whole lot of pedas can be population. One or two pedas to test is a sample. That is, using one peda, you try to draw the conclusion or inference about the taste of the whole population. Similarly, exit poll is one of the best example to explain about this sample and testing of hypothesis. In exit poll, what they do, out of 1 lakh voters, they select randomly. That random word is very important. Randomly, some 1000 voters, and take the inferences, or take their whatever they feel like about the exit poll. Depending on that sample, we try to infer about, we try to draw conclusion about the whole population. So let us see some examples and formula before we go to the actual narration. Here we are to discuss about this topic, sampling, distribution, and testing of hypothesis. A large collection of individuals or numerical data is regarded as population or universe. That is, this population means, suppose you are manufacturing some Crompton or some other company is manufacturing some tube lights. All the tube lights of the company manufactured, like 1 crore tube lights, becomes a population. Suppose you are taking sample of some 100, that 100 tube lights becomes a sample. A finite subset of the whole lot is sample. The number of individuals, that is a sample size n. That is, if you take 100, that is n becomes 100. If n is less than 30, if the sample size is less than 30, we usually call it as small sample. It is a convention. Otherwise, 30 and above or 31 and above, we call it as big sample. So the process of selecting a sample is called as sampling. That process itself is a big study. We take unbiased random sample for the inference to be drawn. Now, basically, we are going to have three things. One is given a information whether the sample belongs to the main population or not, and draw the conclusions about the main population depending on the sample. Second one is, for small samples, t distribution we are studying. Third one is, whatever the curves are fit for the given data, whether that curve is good fit or not, that is a chi-square distribution. I'm again repeating what are the main three parts. One is, usually using normal distribution, we are going to have some examples. Second one is for small samples, t distribution, and for goodness of fit, that is whether the curve, whatever is a fit for the data, is correct or not, to test that chi-square distribution. Now I'll come back to all these, what is meant by null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, once I do some examples. But before that, whatever assumption about the population we make, whether it is true or false. For example, suppose for the whole college or for the whole Belgaum city, on an average the height of boys is 5 feet 9 inches. This is the assumption. Height of boys is 5 feet 9 inches. It is true, we call. Suppose it is a hypothesis. Null hypothesis is usually we take the sample and put a hypothesis that height of the boys in Belgaum is not 5 feet 9 inches. Its opposite exactly will be alternate hypothesis. Now this we can understand better and better using some examples. And here are some important formulae. Suppose x is the variable, and for a small sample, I take a small sample. Usually sample mean, average of the sample, arithmetic average is denoted by x bar. The mean of the whole population is denoted by mu. Sigma is the standard deviation. At the outset, let me tell that we are going to use only arithmetic mean and standard deviation for our whole study in the beginning, for the first chapter. Now for this, the knowledge of how to use normal distribution table, there is a statistical table, normal distribution table is also important, which I presume that normal distribution is studied and done. Otherwise also we can do it, no problem at all. If you are not studied normal distribution also, we can do these examples. I'll show how to read the normal distribution table. Now whenever some value x, variable x is there, then this statistic, whatever the testing parameter we take is known as statistic. Parameter used for the population, statistic is used for sample. So statistic is x bar minus mu by sigma by root n, where mu and sigma are population connected to population, x bar is connected to sample of size n. Now if there is a single variable to be taken, then this is the testing statistic. To test the difference between means, that is if there are two samples, and to test the comparison between two samples, this is the statistic we use. And to test the comparison between two standard deviations, we use, this is the statistic. And there is a formula to find standard deviation using the standard deviations of samples. First sample standard deviation, second sample standard deviation. And the statistic for such a sample, if the standard deviation is known for the population, then these are the standard deviations are known, then this is the sample. Standard deviation for the samples are known, this is the test parameter, test statistic. Otherwise, this is the test statistic where S1, S2 can be found using usual standard deviation formula. So the difference between the standard deviation also can be taken testing statistic. Instead of means, here there will be standard deviation. So these all things will come back in the examples. Don't worry about much about these now at present. After the examples will come back. Now what is this meant by this 95% confidence limits? Or both are same, 5% level of significance means 95% of confidence limits. Once again I am telling about this confidence. See, whenever I make a statement, suppose height of the students in boys of Belgaum is 5 feet 9 inches. Somebody asks you how much confident you are telling about this. Any statement made has got confidence, 100% confident, 90% confidence. That type of confidence we are taking here. 95% confidence is equivalent to 5% level of significance. Some of the statements we make, we are sure of 99% confidence, which is now 1% level of significance. So here I start with the example. The mean of weight obtained from random sample of size 100, that is sample size is 100. Weight is the variable x, and the mean of the weights is 100, is 64 grams. Once again, some objects, suppose we have got of sample size 100 and the mean weight of that is 64 grams and the standard deviation is 3 grams. Test the statement that, so this statement we have to test, which helps us to frame the hypothesis. Test the statement that the mean weight of the population is 67 grams. Suppose in the population there may be some 1 lakh items. Out of that only 100 are chosen. But we know only the information about the population is 67 grams. So because suppose a company is manufacturing some tablets, it is targeted to manufacture 67 grams tablet. But on an average, there may be variation due to error. So variation may be a tolerance limit like, which is may not be exactly 67, 67.1, 67.5, 68, 69, 66.5, etc. up to 64 also. Now I have taken a sample whose average is 64. At 5% level of significance means 95% confidently, can you tell that whether this sample belongs to the main population or not? Also, we set up 19.9% confidence limits. What is meant by this? During the answer, I'll tell you what is meant by confidence limits. Now, what to do is first write down the sample size n equal to 100. Then this 64 is average of these 100 samples, average weight, and standard deviation is 3. Now, mu is nothing but population average. Whole company has got 67 as the average. So now statistic you have to test using testing is z equal to x bar minus mu upon sigma by root n. But before that, what we make the hypothesis? This 0 h0 represents null hypothesis. There is no significance difference between the sample and population. That means sample belongs to population. That is, we assume that h0 is mu equal to 67 is correct. That is, once again, there is no significance difference between 64 and 67 are not much significant. You can accept this significance difference. Suppose if the weight would have been suppose 5 grams, then there is a significant difference. But then also we don't want to tell orally. We want to test using our mathematical knowledge, statistical knowledge, so that we are going to find a number x bar minus mu upon sigma by root n. Now this value comes to be, now sigma is given to be 3 by root 100 minus 10. So this, just like in a chemistry test, whenever we add some indicator, the whole solution may turn up some suppose violet and so on. So you conclude that this is the solution and all that. Similarly, because of this minus 10, we are going to have this at 95% confidence. This is the interval. Whether this belongs to this interval or not, we test. Always for 95% confidence limits, this becomes the interval, or you can tell it should be less than 1.96. Whereas this minus 10 doesn't belong to this interval. So that means whatever you are assuming is wrong. If this would have been, suppose if answer would have been something like 1.5, then 1.5 will belong here. That time whatever we assume is correct. Here whatever you assume is wrong because this minus 10 is out of this, or mod of z is greater than 1.96, like 10 is greater than 1.96. So that's why whatever you assume is rejected. Therefore, the conclusion is that there is a significance difference between sample mean and population mean, or sample does not belong to the mean population. Now, this is first part. Second part is 99% confidence limits. Now, suppose we take different samples. For what level of sample mean, we tell that this sample belongs to the mean population. Suppose we get 67.01 as the sample mean, or 66.9. They are very, very close to this 67, which is the mean of the whole population. So now to find that 99% confidence limits, which should be sample mean minus 2.58 for 99% confidence limit. Suppose if it were asked for 95% confidence limits, I would have substituted here 1.96. So this is the formula for to find that x bar minus 2.58 by sigma by root n, x bar plus 2.58 by sigma by root n. By doing this, you are going to have 64.774 to 63.226. That is, if the sample has got average weight between these two numbers, then we tell that 99% confidence that the sample belongs to the mean. Now, further, second example, to know the mean weight of 10-year-old boys in Delhi, a sample of 225 was taken. That is, 225 boys of 10 years old were taken. That is, 225 becomes sample size. In whole Delhi, there may be lakhs of students, lakhs of boys of 10 years. All those lakhs of boys is a population. A sample of 225 is small sample, which is of course statistically it is a bigger sample. Out of 1 lakh we take a sample of 225, that is n equal to 225. Now the mean weight of the sample was 67 pounds and standard deviation is 12 pounds. What can be inferred about the mean weight of population? So this is very similar to the previous example which I am leaving to you. I am going to the example number 3. The voltage of voltage source, some voltage source, suppose battery, the voltage of a voltage source is measured 50 times. That is, sample size becomes 50 now, and the mean voltage is found to be 110.12 volts. Once again, 50 times I have measured in a data the voltage of some battery or voltage source, and the mean is found to be 110.12 volts with a standard deviation of 0.6 volts. So always in the first type of examples, mean and standard deviation of the sample will be given. So concentrate on 3 things: mean, standard deviation, and sample size n. X bar, sigma, and 50, that is sample size n. Test the hypothesis that the mean voltage of the source is 110 volts. That is exactly, actually this voltage source is manufactured to produce 110 volts. That is, this becomes a population parameter, that is population mean. This is sample mean. At 0.05 level of significance, that is 95% confidence, you find the inference. What all you have to take? So what is the question now? Taking 50 times, whether we can conclude that still the battery, whatever the voltage source is there, it is almost producing 110 volts on an average. Now to answer this question, suppose sample size is n equal to 50, given x bar is sample mean 110.12 and standard deviation, that is 0.69. For the big samples, sample standard deviation and population standard deviations are taken same, and mu is the population mean which is desired, targeted. So now we tell that H0 means it is mu equal to 110. There is no much significance difference between population mean and sample mean. Even we can write a sentence here. I am quoting that for you. There is no significant difference between population mean and sample mean. That is, they are not much different. If H0 is accepted, it is correct. We accept that the hypothesis is accepted. Now how to find Z? X bar minus mu upon sigma by root n. X bar is sample mean, mu is population mean, 0.6 sigma is given here, divided by square root of 50, sample size 1.4150. Whether this belongs to this interval or not, or whether this is less than 1.96, whether modulus of Z is less than 1.96. Yes, it belongs, so that whatever you are assuming is correct. The hypothesis is true. We have tested that the mean voltage of the source is 110 volts at 0.04, at 95% confidence. On an average, we are correct. Okay, so that is, with the 95% confidence, we tell that though here we got 110.12, if we take some more measurements, almost we are going to get 110 volts only. That is, there is no significant difference between sample and the population. Mean voltage can be considered as 110 volts. Now here there is small difference in the previous example and this example. I'll read for you. Random samples drawn from 2 countries. So there are 2 different samples. Give the following data relating to the height of adult males. Country A, country B. So mean height for first country, mean height for second country, and standard deviation for that first country, standard deviation for second country. Number of samples here, number of samples here. See that here number of samples need not be same. That is the point to be noted. So that is, number of samples need not be same. Please note that this number of samples 100, 1200 and 1000, they are not same. So now what is to be tested? Is the difference between the means is significant? Are the two countries have got significant difference in their heights? Second one, is the difference between the standard deviation significant? Difference in the standard deviation is also not much different, whether it is different statistically. So now first one is, what you have to do is, since there are two samples, instead of n and x bar, you have got n1, n2, x1 bar, x2 bar, sigma 1 bar, sigma 2 bar, or s1, s2 you can take. Now h0 is, both the samples have got almost the similar mean. That is, populations are same. I am not writing x1 bar equal to x2 bar. Please note that. Depending on these two, I am writing both the populations almost behave the same. So that always the alternative hypothesis is it's negative. So now we try to see that whether it is true or false. What is the statistic for this? The statistic for this is, for difference between two means, z equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by this. That is, z equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by this. You have to substitute here. That is, which is substituted here, x1 bar minus x2 bar sigma s1 square 2.8 square divided by n1, which is 1000, s2 square divided by 1200. This whole things comes to be some number 1.56. For 95% confidence limits, you have to tell whether this belongs to this interval minus 1.96 to plus 1.96, or whether 1.56 is less than this 1.56 is less than 1.96. So whatever you are assuming is correct. Both the countries behave same as far as the heights of males are concerned. Now whether the standard deviations are also same, for that similar things are set up. Hypothesis is standard deviations behave same. Now statistic for standard deviation, instead of x1 bar minus x2 bar, we got s1 minus s2 by sigma 1 square by sigma 2 square, 2n1 plus 2n2. Here instead of n1, sigma 1, sigma 2 for large samples, we take large sample means greater than 30 samples, because sample size is here 1000 and 1200, which is greater than 30. So S1 and S2 are taken as sigma 1, sigma 2. Hence, we substitute here these values and find that 1.0387. Again, that is less than 1.96. Even standard deviations are also same for both the countries. Here, difference between the means is taken as a statistic. Now, in a survey of, next example, in a survey of buying habits, here buying habit is the main criteria. Buying habits is tested for some two groups. Quite interesting. See, these examples are also quite useful. If you heard of third party inspection to the some companies, some industries, or some hotels, there is a big setup, big certification courses for third party inspection. Suppose government wants to give the ISO marking, ISI marking. For that, third party inspections are necessary. So at what percentage level their company is demanding that, company is claiming that they are true to 95% level or 99% level. Whether their claim is correct or not, how to test it? So there is a third party inspection certification companies, they come and test. It is always food inspectors also come and test. For the whole company, suppose industry is manufacturing some nails of 5 centimeter for the targeted some tolerance limits. So they test for some 5 to 6 samples, suppose, or 35 samples, 40 samples. Depending on the samples, they have the inference. And if the samples are showing the correct results, then the company starts agreeing. So there is a lot of scope when you study this, and in every company, these type of testing of hypothesis is a must nowadays. Apart from this testing in companies, in research also, whether the data what we are studying, whether data what we are fitting is true or false, is also studied using this type of surveys. I come back to examples. In a survey of buying habits, see, once again I am telling, buying habits is the main criteria variable. For 400 women, shoppers are chosen at random in a supermarket A. The average weekly food expenditure is rupees 250. Average means they are giving x1 bar, something like that, or x bar. So here 400 is sample size, 250 average is x1 bar, n1 standard deviation is s1 or sigma 1. Again, second sample 500 women shoppers chosen at supermarket B. There are two supermarkets A and B, which is N2 equal to 500. Average weekly food expenditure is 220. It is X2 bar. Instead of X1 bar 250, here X2 bar is 220 with the standard deviation sigma 2 equal to 45. Test at 99% confidence level or 1% level of significance. This has to be told again and again. 1% level of significance is same thing as whatever we talk, you should claim that we are confident 99%. Whether the average food expenditure of the two groups are equal, on looking to this statistic data, whether we can have this hypothesis testing of whether the average of two groups are same almost, you need not worry about supermarket A, supermarket B have got the same level of buying habits. To test this, first we write the data N1, X1 bar, S1, 400, 250, 40, N2, X2 bar, 45, 500, 220, 45. Then we assume that there is no significant difference between buying habits. That is, population mean of first supermarket A is equal to population mean of supermarket B. Or you can write a sentence here, there is no significant difference, like this you should take. Okay. There is no significant difference between the food expenditure of the two groups, or food expenditures of the two groups are equal. You can write a sentence here. I am telling for you, H0, there is no significant difference between the buying habits of supermarket A, supermarket B. So now Z equal to, just like previous example, since S1 and S2 are known, X1 bar minus X2 bar by square root of S1 square by N1, S2 square by N2, addition of that. So when you substitute, you are going to get 10.574. So for 99% confidence limits, we need a bigger interval. Instead of 1.96, 1.96 here, you have got minus 2.58, 2.58. Then also this E is greater than 2.58. It is not belonging to this. Means what? This is not belong to this interval means what? This tests that whatever the claim we are doing is wrong. The buying habits of first group and second groups are behaving differently. The inference, the conclusion is buying habits are different. You can conclude like that. Once again, supermarket A, supermarket B, you have got N1 400 sample size. For that, average buying habits, that is average buying habits means they are taking as expenditure as the criteria, which is rupees 250 on and average with a difference of 40, a standard deviation of 40. Similarly for second sample, hypothesis, test parameter. So test parameter, instead of that we call test statistic. Statistic is used for sample, parameter is used for population, and some number we get. If it does not belong to this interval, reject. Belongs to this interval, accept. If you reject, it's opposite. You have to conclude that is not same. They are not same. If you accept, you have to conclude that it is same.